Part 47. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 463. What is your current training level? Qin Ji asked Bismarck and Tian Cheng. Bismarck replied, my current level of practice is about 87. Magi smiled and said, Your Majesty, I am a little less than Bismarck, about 85. Qin Ji nodded, then looked at Veneto. What about Veneto? My training level is around 95, Veneto replied. It seems that the difference is not too big. Then there are 5 books left. Bismarck and Tian Cheng each have 2 books. Let's see how much your training can be improved, Qin Ji said. Yes. Bismarck and Tian Cheng stood up at the same time and came to Qin Ji. Qin Ji handed them 2 books of ship drill data respectively. The 2 of them used it immediately. After a burst of light, the 2 of them opened their eyes again, and all the light spots were sucked into their bodies. My training level has now reached level 97, Bismarck said. I'm a little worse, but I've also reached the 96th level of training, Magi said with a smile. Qin Ji nodded. So now that your level of training has reached above 95, I suddenly feel that this last ship drill data is not suitable for anyone. Everyone couldn't help but look at each other and laughed. Indeed, the 4 of them are now at around 95 levels of training. Whoever gets the last book of ship drill data can break through to the full level of training. This also makes Qin Ji temporarily unaware of giving this book of ship drill data to who is better. At this moment, Peter Strasser on the side smiled and said to Qin Ji, Commander, my current training level is still relatively low. I currently have 56 training levels. Why don't you give me this ship drill data, like? With it, I should be able to reach a full breakthrough level. This improves efficiency and saves a lot of time. Qin Ji smiled and said, Okay, then you can use the ship drill data. Peter Strasser quickly took over the ship drill data and used it without hesitation. She had been standing by the side before, and she was already a little jealous when she saw other people improving their levels. After all, she is a person who pays great attention to time and efficiency, so she likes things like this that can improve her efficiency. As for others, they have no objection to Qin Ji giving the ship drill data to Peter Strasser, because these are for digestion within his own fleet to improve the overall strength of the fleet. Soon, the light around Peter Strasser disappeared. It really feels a bit magical. In such a short period of time, my training level has reached 70. Qin Ji smiled and said, Okay, now that the ship exercise data has been distributed, let's talk about the remaining mental units. Is it the one who can awaken the ship girl? Veneto asked. Qin Ji nodded. The 9 major camps have also mass-produced this, but like the ship drill data, it is also very small. But considering that the glory was awakened independently before, I do not consider using the mental unit now. We must know that the strength of autonomous awakening is much higher than that of awakening using mental units, so my opinion is to save these things first. In case we encounter a more dangerous situation in the future, we will use them as a last resort. The main thing now is to wait until you reach the full level of training and then start to awaken independently. Everyone nodded and agreed with Qin Ji's judgment. For their fleet, the existence of the mental unit only serves as an insurance policy. I believe that no one is willing to sacrifice their future strength limit to assist in awakening, unless it is absolutely necessary. Then the next step is about the reallocation of the fleet. Qin Ji pressed the table and said, Our fleet now has a total of 63 ship girls, including 6 submarines, 9 destroyers, and 10 light cruisers. 7 for the heavy cruiser, 10 for the battle line and battle cruiser, and 19 for the main and light cruisers. Among these, there are 3 awakened ship girls, there are now 2 fully trained ship girls, and there are more than 10 ship girls with a level of about 90. If classified according to the factions, there are currently 13 ship girls in Royal, 13 ship girls in Iron Blood, 14 ship girls in Sakura, 16 ship girls in White Eagle, and 2 ship girls in Free Iris. The Sardinian Empire has 2 ship girls, Dong Huang has 2 ship girls, and the Northern Alliance has only 1 ship girl. This is the basic situation of our current fleet. Considering that there are still many ship girls who have just joined the fleet and do not have much training, so for the safety of the ship girls, except for the iron-blooded main fleet, all previous fleet formations have been destroyed. Chaos. Several ship girls nodded. Although the company among them didn't know why they wanted to retain the iron-blooded main fleet, but since Qin Ji said so and got the consent of others, there must be a reason to retain the iron-blooded main fleet. Qin Ji looked at everyone, so the fleet led by Bismarck is divided into Bismarck, Tirpitz, Zeppelin, Peter Strasser, Weser, Prince Eugen, Z-23, Aurora, Heinrich Prince, and Zeal. The fleets led by the Sovereign were divided into the Sovereign, Glorious, Rodney, Formidable, Unicorn, Exeter, Belfast, Javelin, Zayahi, and Karlsruhe. The fleet led by Amagi is divided into Amagi, Akagi, Kaga, Luin, Naki, Ayanamai, Nagaha, I-25, I-13, and Nautilus. The fleet led by Veneto is divided into Veneto, Hai, Lexington, Casablanca, Centaur, Zara, Naka, Tashkent, Santiago, Portland, and Helena. The fleet led by Richelieu was divided into Richelieu, Glory, Washington, Hornet, Bunker Hill, Joan of Arc, Spence, Osborne, Node, and Hermione. The fleet led by Enterprise is divided into Enterprise, Ticonderoga, Independence, Jinkai, Shinano, Leipzig, Cleveland, Atago, Lafayette, U-81, U-96, and U-556. This is my temporary plan now. After all, the training levels of our fleets are uneven, so basically every fleet has a mode of old and new, and only 2 fleets have submarine formations. One is a formation composed of 2 awakened ship girls, and the other is a formation composed of pure aircraft carriers. If we are summoning ship girls next, we will replace them again, or replenish the original fleet. So if you have any objections, you can speak out. The monarch shook his head. Commander, please rest assured, no matter how difficult the battle is, I will bring this fleet back intact. Several other ship girls also nodded, indicating that they had no objection to this formation. Qin Ji nodded, then we will each find our own fleet mates and explain to them the situation of this meeting. After that, I will contact the Maritime Safety Administration to ask them to arrange for 2 more command ships to come over. As for the days in between, everyone should take more rest and promote relationships with their peers. Yes. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 464. Qin Ji didn't know the reason for Akagi's sudden change. After that meeting, Akagi and Kaga officially joined the fleet. Akagi's figure appears next to Qin Ji from time to time, and his behavior is very charming, much more charming than Belfast or Guanghui, who have always been bolder. Although Qin Ji's sense of ship girls has changed a lot now, and he has even become very fond or in love with some ship girls. But facing such an offensive, he was still a little overwhelmed. So every time he saw Sheik Hung appear, Qin Ji would immediately take a detour. Such behavior made some ship girls who knew the inside story very funny. His commander looked very calm when facing the 3 high-level humanoid sirens in the Mirror Sea, but when facing Akagi, he seemed to be encountering a cat and mouse. However, Akagi has no self-awareness at all. Perhaps she actually knows, but treats this behavior as a kind of fun. Every day it brings some surprises to Qin Ji, and sometimes Qin Ji even takes it as a shock. No, since there was nothing to do during the day, Qin Ji squinted for a while in the command room of the fleet. But when he woke up, he saw Sheik Hung looking at him with a smile on his face, and at this time Qin Ji found that he was tied up. He, Commander is awake, Akagi said with a sweet smile. Well, I woke up, but why was I tied up? Did you do it, Shikung? Qin asked quickly. Yes, Commander, the past 2 days have really hurt Akage's heart. I obviously tried so hard to get close to you, but you took a detour as soon as you saw me. Is Akage that scary in your eyes? Shikung walked to Qin and stroked his face with his hands. He looked at Qin embarrassed look and said, just like an abandoned little daughter-in-law. Ahem, that's because I suddenly thought of something, so I didn't say hello to you. Look, when you were with your sister, didn't I say hello to you every time? Qin quickly defended. But what he said is true, because when Amagi is next to him, it is the safest time to face Akage, so he will naturally pretend to say hello. Haha, does the commander mean that I wrongly blamed the commander? Shikung leaned down and looked into Qin eyes. Yes, you definitely blamed me wrongly, Qin said quickly. Haha, so commander, do you like Akage? Commander, do you think Akage is beautiful? Akage said with a sweet smile. Ahem, my Mei, Shikung is very beautiful, Qin said firmly, and even after saying this, he believed it himself. Commander hasn't said whether you like Akage yet, Akage asked. I like it, absolutely like it, Qin nodded quickly and said. After all, saving his life was important now, so Qin didn't feel ashamed at all when he said something against his will. Haha, Akage also likes the commander very much, Akage smiled sweetly, and the commander is mine alone. Even if you want to manage the fleet, please don't forget this, otherwise, Akage will I can cut the commander into several pieces and keep them with me, so that I can see the commander all the time, and the commander will not always make Akage sad, he. Ahem. Qin couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. Looking at Shishin's smiling eyes, he had 100 reasons to believe that Shishin's words were absolutely true, because that kind of look could not deceive anyone at all. Commander, there is no need to be afraid. After all, this kind of thing will never happen, right? As long as the commander gets closer and closer, there is no need to worry about anything, and there is no need to be afraid, Akage said, putting his face next to Qin face. God knows how Qin spent the rest of his life. When Peter Strasser came to the office, he only saw Qin lying on the table limply, like a walking zombie. Commander? What's wrong with you? Peter Strasser asked in confusion. I'm exhausted physically and mentally, haven't you seen it? Qin said with his eyes closed. So is Akage from Chongsakura here, Peter Strasser said. Otherwise, have you seen me like this before? Qin struggled to sit up and said. It seems that Commander has had a very hard day, Peter Strasser smiled. Do you need me to comfort you? Qin raised his eyelids in confusion. Aren't you going to be like Shikung? If this can make the commander improve his work efficiency, then it is okay to pay some, Peter Strasser said. No need, I feel like I'm good like this, Qin quickly waved his hand. Besides, do you have something to do here? According to your personality, you won't come here for no reason, right? Of course, Peter Strasser nodded. The command ship requested previously has been delivered from Shenhua City, and along with it are the supplies provided by the 9 major camps this month. Qin nodded. It's more than August now, so we have to go out to sea for at least a month. When we come back next time, we will face the Siren Tide. Although the number of 3-person tides here is much smaller than that in Shenhua City before, the quality is even higher. Therefore, in this month, we must step up our efforts and bring out a few more fully trained ship girls, so that we can survive the next Siren Tide more effectively. Peter Strasser nodded. So are you ready to leave now, Commander? That's right, instead of setting off tomorrow, it's better to gather resources immediately and set off this afternoon, Qin said to Peter Strasser. Calculating the time, we can reach the erosion level 4 in the early morning of the day after tomorrow. Level C area. Understood, then I will notify you as soon as I get down. After Peter Strasser finished speaking, he finally left the command room without looking back. Qin-Ji also stood up at this time, looking at the furnishings in the office, and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Although there were reasons given to Peter Strasser before, the biggest reason was that he wanted to leave early and avoid Akagi. But when I think about it, even if I dodge now, I can only hide for a while, not for a lifetime. Akagi is still in his fleet. Temporary avoidance can't change any facts, but at least it can give him peace of mind for a while. The most essential solution is to have someone in the fleet who can compete with Akagi Kaga as soon as possible. At present, the only ones in the entire fleet that have this potential are the Monarch, the Enterprise, and the unknown scientific research Mind Cube. Why is this not Guanghui? It's because Guanghui's character is not that strong at all. It is precisely because of this that Qin-Ji chose the Monarch as the leader of a fleet, not Guanghui. Thinking of this, Qin-Ji took a deep breath. It seemed that he was still not strong enough. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 465. Commander, what do you think is the biggest difference between us and the royal family? The command ship was sailing on the sea, and Qin-Ji, who was sitting in the command ship to rest, was suddenly asked this question by Prince Eugen. Qin-Ji thought for a while, looked at Tirpitz sitting on the sofa next to him, Zeppelin and Bismarck sailing the ship, and then replied to Prince Eugen. It's about the atmosphere. Oh, Peter Strasser, who was sitting on the other side, smiled. Atmosphere, what would the commander say? Qin-Ji smiled and said, the royal family generally gives people a more relaxed feeling. For example, when there is nothing wrong on the sea, most people will sit together and drink afternoon tea, so even if there is a fierce battle, the tense nerves will not, it will calm down quickly. But as long as I've been here in Iron Blood for the past few days, I feel like you're not like this. Your behavior makes me feel very much like when I was in the army. Although you often joke, you are still quite serious overall. Prince Eugen couldn't help but smile when he heard this, so this is why the commander arranged 2 royal ship girls in our fleet. Qin-Ji looked at Prince Eugen's half-smiling expression and couldn't help but roll his eyes. Zwan itself has the special skill of fire interference, which can reduce the firing rate and damage of the opponent's elite target. It is a very useful skill. Chongqing has the special ability to attack lightly armored enemies, which can greatly improve the killing efficiency of our entire fleet against lightly armored enemies. And even if I want to experience a more leisurely atmosphere, then I can just arrange Belfast to our fleet. My headmate is very capable. After Qin-Ji said these words, even Prince Eugen could not help but nodded in agreement. Indeed, if the port area wants to find a ship girl who can best take care of people, then it must be Belfast. But having said that, what the commander said is actually not entirely correct. Peter Strasser said, just like Heinrich, that child is more lively. Qin-Ji glanced at the long-haired girl on the deck not far away, Z-23 Enzenzin, and Aurora couldn't help but smile. Her nature is relatively innocent, or very reckless, like a child. But her performance alone cannot represent the whole iron-blooded team. In contrast, your performance is very rigorous, your usual style is more resolute, and on the battlefield, you are also very, well, neat. Even the Z-23 has a strong iron-blooded style. Haha, does the commander like this style? Or do you prefer the royal style? Prince Eugen asked with a smile, and this question also attracted the attention of several ship girls around him. Qin-Ji smiled and nodded. I think it's a very good thing that each camp has its own characteristics. And for me, a more rigorous style like Iron Blood is what I'm most accustomed to. Bar. Oh, Weezer, who was leaning against the window, turned around with a cup of coffee. Why did the commander say that? Qin smiled and said with some nostalgia, when I was in another world, I was in the army of our country. No, it cannot be said to be the army, but to enter the army's outpost, the command college. Our country's army is a very strictly disciplined army with many rules. It is a very tempering place. Even when we were in school, we were doing things according to the army's guidelines. So it is precisely because of this experience that compared to when I stayed with people from several of your major camps, only you Iron Blood can let me relieve the scene at that time. Before Weezer asked further questions, Prince Eugen smiled and said, Commander has changed a lot recently. No, it should be said that he has changed a lot since he came back from Chongqing last year. I still remember that when you introduced the previous world to us, it was my world, but now it has become the previous world. Qin Ji was stunned when he heard this, and then his smile slowly faded. Maybe it's because I really can't go back, maybe, I'm used to the rhythm of this world. People always have to grow, and the price of growth is to learn how to let go, so I gradually let go. Well, that's good. Weezer nodded, just like I am no longer the 4th Admiral Cyper-class ship Seedlitz, but the auxiliary aircraft carrier Weezer. No matter what environment we are in, no matter what we have become, as long as we do not forget our original intention, we should choose how to live, rather than letting life decide us. That's right, Qin Ji said to Weezer with a smile. Humph, what is there to miss in this stupid world? The life I chose is to destroy it all, Zeppelin said slowly. Qin Ji looked at Chi Bolin speechlessly. This person was also a big trouble, but it was much better than Akagya. At least she would listen to what he said. But having said that, does the reason why Zeppelin became like this also have something to do with Akagya? After all, when Zeppelin was built, Akagya's drawings were consulted. While Qin Ji was thinking about these issues, Bismarck, who was sailing the ship, suddenly said, Everyone, an enemy has appeared. As soon as Qin Ji heard this, he immediately stood up and came to Bismarck's side. How is it? How many fleets are there in total? Qin Ji asked. Bismarck immediately pointed to the radar and said to Qin Ji, 3 siren fleets were detected in directions 84, 97, and 103. Tisk, it's not bad this time. There should have been only 1 siren fleet here originally, but because we came, it became 3, right? But don't ride and encounter 6 in the morning. They are much stronger, Qin Ji said teasingly. So Commander, what's our next move? Bismarck asked. Qin Ji looked at the radar and smiled, of course we will annihilate them. We have wiped out the 6 siren fleets one by one. Are we still afraid of 3 of them? Bismarck nodded, then the tactics are still the same as in the morning? Use the advantage of speed to start a distance battle with them. Qin Ji blinked and said to Bismarck, when the time comes, take off the carrier-based aircraft first and let Zeppelin and Peter check what kind of fleet it is. As long as the aircraft carrier is not strong, we can rush in directly. If the aircraft carrier is relatively strong and it takes a while to gain air supremacy, then we will use the morning tactics. Yes, Bismarck answered very neatly, then turned around and led the iron-blooded people out of the command ship. After landing on the sea, an iron-blooded flag appeared in her hand, then she turned to look at everyone and said, in the name of iron and blood. Must win. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 466. Looking at Bismarck, who was directing the battle not far in front of him, Qin Ji smiled and nodded. If there is one biggest difference between the iron-blooded camp and the royal camp, it is that in the current iron-blooded camp, he is not as hands-on as when he was in the royal family. Instead, he has more time to rest. The cause of all this is naturally the Bismarck in front of him. A leader is a leader, and Bismarck was a born leader. Even if they were as sharp as Zeppelin, as cunning as Prince Eugen, or as Peter Strasser who pursued efficiency, they were all very obedient to Bismarck's orders. and Bismarck can indeed lead this fleet very well, so Qin Ji does not need to say too much in this fleet, he only needs to fulfill his responsibilities as a commander. Leave everything else to Bismarck, and she will do a great job. Just like the battle in front of me, it was clean and neat, without any sense of sloppiness. Every attack hits the enemy's vital points directly. Although the current overall training level of the iron-blooded fleet is slightly weaker than that of the royal family, its demonstrated strength is no weaker than that of the royal family. Not long after, the three fleets in front of them had been wiped out. After the other ship girls commanded by Bismarck cleaned up the supplies dropped by the sirens and some materials on the sea, they led the team back to the command ship. "What a beautiful battle," Qin Ji said to everyone with a smile. "Thank you, Commander," Bismarck nodded. "Let's all take a rest. We have been in a tense state since the morning, and it will take a long time for the next siren fleet to arrive from the map sent by the Wasp, so the next step is left to me." Qin Ji said with a smile. "Commander, it's okay. You have been participating in the battle for a long time. Leave the rest to me," Bismarck said. Qin Ji shook his head. "As the flagship of this fleet, especially you should rest and stay in sufficient condition so that you can better command everyone in battle. I believe that as a leader, you don't know this, right? So there's no need to fight, just go and rest." "I think the commander is right. Bismarck should go and rest. The commander and I will be on duty here." Prince Eugen smiled. This Bismarck still hesitated. "Let's go, Bismarck, the commander is right. There are still 4 hours until the next target, please don't reduce efficiency due to hesitation," Peter Strasser said. "Okay," Bismarck nodded, and then walked towards the cabin with the others. Qin Ji turned around with a smile, skillfully maneuvered the command ship to the target course, and then stopped. "Actually, you can also take a rest, Eugen," Qin Ji said to Prince Eugen standing next to him. "But rather than rest, I want to be alone with the commander, don't you?" Prince Eugen smiled, and then moved slightly closer to Qin Ji. Qin Ji was speechless for a moment, but did not refuse. "When we left the port and went to sea that day, I saw several red marks on the commander's wrist." "What happened?" Prince Eugen said, pretending not to care. That's nothing," Qin Ji said in an evasive tone. "Did he tell Prince Eugen that he was kidnapped by Akage?" "Huh? Commander, does he like to be tied up?" "It just so happens that I have a holy son here, otherwise, why don't I tie up the commander too?" Prince Eugen said jokingly. Qin Ji looked at Prince Eugen and saw that she actually took out a rope from her ship's space, and immediately shook her head. "Who would like to be tied up? Please don't express such dangerous thoughts." Prince Eugen smiled and tied the rope around his wrist. "Commander, please tell me what happened at that time. Otherwise, I would really know how to tie it." Qin Ji had no choice but to tell Prince Eugen what happened that day. "Oh? The one from Chongqing," Prince Eugen frowned, "that would be more difficult to handle." Qin Ji saw that Prince Eugen no longer wanted to tie him up, so he nodded. "Maybe this is the price. We now have super strength, but we have to pay something accordingly." "Oh, the commander is quite open-minded. Have you already fallen into Akage's offensive?" Prince Eugen said with a smile. Qin Ji quickly shook his head. "No, it's just that there is nothing we can do now. With the current situation of our entire fleet, we can't find anyone who can compete with Akage. Do you want me to be bullied by Akage and then go find Magi? That's impossible, so I can only delay as much as possible, or try to change Akage bit by bit, or else cultivate a person who can compete with Akage Kaga." "So who is the commander's target? Are the camp leaders the research ship Monarch, the Glory, or the Grey Ghost that just entered the fleet?" Prince Eugen smiled. Qin Ji shook his head, then turned and pointed at the table beside him. "Her." Prince Eugen understood for a moment, but there was a puzzled look on his face. "Commander, you don't even know her name." How do you know that her personality will help you in the future? Or should you just say, are you betting everything here? Qin Ji shrugged, then I have no choice. Now I can only rely on her. The first point is that because she is used as an excuse, I can be more stable in the past few years. The second point is that as a decisive battle plan, he is fully trained as soon as he is born. As long as his personality is not very bad, he should be able to compete with Akagakaga and find a support point for the stability of our fleet. Haha, it seems like your day is not easy either. Prince Eugen smiled. Qin Ji smiled bitterly and said, no one would know that Sheik Hung, who was generous and well-reasoned when he was in power, would become like that once he became his own ship girl. The key to me now is that I don't. There's a way. If I had my way, I wouldn't be so sick and in need of medical treatment now. Prince Eugen smiled and said, Commander, otherwise sacrifice yourself for the benefit of our fleet. Anyway, you will not lose anything, and you will gain a beautiful beauty. Qin Ji rolled his eyes. I didn't expect that Ogen, who was full of tricks before, would now learn to betray the commander. This is not called betrayal. Prince Eugen smiled, but let's just follow the commander. Anyway, now you are on our iron-blooded ship. Ah! My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 467. The battle at sea goes on day after day, seemingly without an end. After destroying a wave of siren fleets, new ones will appear, as if there is no end. Under the night, Qin Ji was lying alone on the deck of the command ship, looking at the starry sky. It's already over September, but the sea breeze at night still carries a hint of warmth, so Qin Ji doesn't feel cold at all, and Qin Ji is still very comfortable. Not long after, rhythmic footsteps sounded on the stairs, and a figure appeared on the deck. Commander, why don't you go to bed so late? Qin Ji turned to look at the people who appeared on the deck, and then looked at the starry sky again. Bismarck, aren't you still asleep? I remember that the person on duty tonight should be Tirpitz, right? Yes, but when I just went to the commander's room, I found that you were not there, so I came to take a look. Could it be that the commander can't sleep now? Or is he thinking about something? Bismarck said. I just can't sleep, and the night is better tonight, so come here and enjoy the breeze. Qin Ji smiled and said, why don't you also sit down and feel the sea breeze at night? Yes, Bismarck nodded and sat directly next to Qin Ji. Bismarck, do you think the stars I'm looking at now can be seen by anyone in my world? Feeling Bismarck sitting next to him, Qin Ji asked. Perhaps it shouldn't be possible. After all, correspondingly, the world we are in now is the Earth where Commander Analog was before. So what the commander sees here are exactly the same, but they are not the stars seen on the Earth. Bismarck said to Qin Ji. Haha, really? Qin Ji said with a smile. Commander, are you homesick? Bismarck looked at Qin Ji and asked. Qin Ji shook his head, it's not that I miss home, it's just that I suddenly had this idea. Maybe it makes you feel weird. No, in fact, it is quite normal for the commander to be homesick, because no one does not miss the place where he was born. Unless he is disgusted with that world, which obviously the commander is not, Bismarck said. Well, time flies so fast. It has been 2 years since I came to this world in the blink of an eye. Qin Ji smiled and said, there will be a new siren tide soon. I don't know if we can survive it safely this time. So is the commander thinking about this here? Bismarck asked. Yeah, it's already September 20th. We plan to go back in October, and the siren tide is basically in mid-October according to past conditions, so it's already somewhat imminent. Qin Ji said. I think there is no need for this commander to be so worried. Not to mention that our fleet now has sufficient strength, and according to the total of more than 10 awakened ship girls in our station, we will not be able to defend against this siren tide. And when we came, the fleet led by Commander Li Chenjiang could defend it, let alone us. Bismarck said. Qin Ji nodded, you're right. Maybe I like to worry more. I always think about it involuntarily. Bismarck nodded, I understand. After all, the commander has to command a fleet. The issues you are considering cannot be very one-sided, so I understand. After Bismarck finished speaking, Qin Ji nodded and said with a smile, actually, sometimes compared to a fleet leader, you are much better than me. Bismarck shook his head, no, the commander is much better than you think. I am just the flagship of the iron-blooded camp. What the commander needs to coordinate is all other fleets and all camps. You also have to consider dialogue and cooperation with other camps, so you will have a much harder time than me. And now that our fleet is so organized, most of the credit must be attributed to the efforts of the commander. Qin Ji waved his hand, haha, why do we feel like the two of us are complimenting each other? Forget it, let's not talk about this. After he finished speaking, he got up directly, looked at Bismarck sitting next to him and said, Bismarck, I have a question for you, so can you answer it honestly? Bismarck looked at Qin Ji with confusion, Commander, please ask. I will answer you truthfully. Qin Ji smiled slightly, that's why I don't think you smile too often. Why is that? This. Bismarck was stunned. You are obviously very beautiful, but why are you always very serious every day? Just like Prince Eugen and Peter Strasser, although they are usually very serious and rigorous, they still laugh when they should laugh, so you why? Qin Ji asked. I'm not very good at showing emotions, so. When Bismarck said this, her expression looked a little heavy, and when I appear in front of my compatriots, I must be uncompromising and move forward courageously. He can simply be a Bismarck who is not good at expressing emotions, but he must be an invincible iron-blooded leader. Qin Ji smiled and took Bismarck's hand, but you are not in front of your compatriots now. There are only two of us here. So when you are in front of me, can you show your feelings? Feeling his hand being held, a faint blush appeared on Bismarck's fair face, and this blush made Qin Ji's heart skip a beat. I am actually very happy to see you by my side, and in front of you, I can let go of that burden a little bit, because I know that I can rely on you, Bismarck whispered. Qin Ji smiled and said, that's good, but at this time, it would be better to show a smile. Is that so? Bismarck looked into Qin Ji's eyes and gave a slightly forced smile. Although far-fetched, it looks surprisingly good-looking. It's very beautiful, Qin Ji said in admiration. Thank you, said Bismarck. I hope you can smile more in the future, at least when you are with me. Qin Ji looked at Bismarck and said. Well, I'll try my best, Bismarck nodded. Haha, come on, now that you have put down your burden, lie next to me and let's look at the starry sky together. The night is still very long, so don't be in a hurry to fall asleep. Qin Ji smiled. Yes. So the two of them lay on the deck together. Bismarck also took off his hat and put it aside, next to Qin Ji's hat. The two rested on each other's arms, welcoming the breeze and looking up. Watching the starry sky. Haha, I didn't expect that the commander would take the initiative unexpectedly sometimes, don't you think so, Tirpitz? Eugen, is that really my sister? Who says it isn't? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 468. It feels better to step on land. Qin Ji stepped on the pier of the port, turned to his ship's wife and said with a smile. Haha, it doesn't matter to us. As a battleship, it was born in the sea, and now it has become a human form. For us, the concepts of sea and land are actually the same, Prince Eugen said. But when we came back this time, it was obvious that the number of sirens had increased. It seems that we have indeed reached the point of the siren tide that Commander you mentioned, Peter Strasser said. Why are you afraid of them? As long as they dare to invade my territory, can't we just destroy them all? Zeppelin said as he got off the boat. Haha, this time I agree with your proposal, Zeppelin. Since they dare to invade, then all of them should be eliminated, Peter Strasser said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and said, let's not talk about it for now. It has been more than a month since we went to sea this time. Everyone should go home and have a good rest after disembarking. When the offshore sea starts to become abnormal, we will be ready for a big battle. Yes, Commander. While talking, everyone looked behind them and saw the command ship occupied by the other ship girls of Qin Ji's fleet slowly approaching the shore. One by one, the ship girls walked out of the command ship. Although the expressions on the faces are different, you can feel a joyful emotion from the eyes. After all, no one likes to fight all the time. Being able to take a break once in a while is something that I look forward to very much. However, although Qin Ji asked his ship girl to rest, he did not take any time off. We are about to face the siren tide, even though our fleet is now much stronger. But the situation of other people's fleets, and the situation of free ship girls, etc. all need to be communicated. So after greeting Wasp and Li Chenming who came to greet them, the three of them immediately walked towards the conference room, preparing to discuss how to fight the siren tide next. The atmosphere during the entire meeting was quite heavy. Recently, the main force of the Xingai fleet is Qin Ji's fleet. Although other fleets have relatively high training levels, there are generally not many ship girls. So this time is a test, not only for Qin Ji, but also for others in the fleet. The meeting didn't last long. After all, what needed to be understood was quickly understood. The next time is to integrate forces and arrange corresponding preventive measures. However, Qin Ji thought that when he was in the Mirror Sea, the observer told him that the siren fleet he would encounter in the future would be double to 3 times that of ordinary people. This trip to sea also confirmed this statement. Every time Qin Ji encountered no less than 2 fleets, the same was true for the fleet girls of other fleets. So he is considering whether the situation will also happen in the siren tide this time. After all, this is a battle that he is directly involved in. If the scale of the siren tide is similar to the previous siren tide, then he can still defend it. If there are really more, if the siren fleet is 1 to 3 times larger, then this is another story. The only thing that can be counted on now is the special envoy sent by other camps to Qin Ji. After what happened last time, the envoys sent by other camps did not go to the sea with Qin Ji anymore. After all, it has been confirmed that most of the Siren's plans for Qin Ji are to observe, and they will not kill him for the time being, and his ship girl training has also improved, and he no longer needs to follow him all the time. After arriving at the building where the special envoy ship girl lived, everyone started a meeting in the conference room. So Commander Qin Ji is currently worried that the number of siren tides will double or triple, Gangat said. Yes, if we come with the original siren fleet, I think our fleet can defend it with its current strength, but if more siren fleets appear, we will definitely feel the pressure and even lose our defense. Although my fleet currently has 3 awakened ship girls, there are also several fully trained ship girls. However, the overall strength of the members of other large fleets is still relatively low. We can only defend one place and cannot cover everything. Qin Ji said to everyone. So what Commander Qin Ji means is for us to help during the siren tide, York City asked. Qin Ji shook his head, if we can defend it, I will try not to let everyone take action. But if it is true as I said before, the other party will come with double to triple the fleet. That it's time for everyone to take action. I believe everyone here understands what Commander Qin Ji said. My suggestion is no problem. After all, we are now in a cooperative state, not to mention that it is our bounden duty as a ship girl to fight against the sirens, Hao said with a smile. Is there any problem with our iron-blooded fleet? But we have a small request. That is, if we really join Commander Qin Ji's fleet to fight, can we fight together with the iron-blooded companions of your fleet? Nizana smiled. Qin Ji smiled and nodded. Of course, if it is necessary for you to participate in the war, you can all fight with your own camp flagship. Then there's no problem, and we at Beijing agree. The Sardinian Empire agrees. The Free Irises and the Vichy Curia also agreed. There is no problem with Northern United. Seeing the envoys agreeing one after another, Qin Ji's heart finally settled. At this time, he actually wanted to make the Siren Tide more numerous, because with the help of these dozen awakened ship girls, this Siren Tide would be very easy. What is really not easy is that the Siren Tide still comes according to the original plan. That will be the time to truly test the strength of his large fleet. But I believe that if we work together, we will get through it more easily. After doing all this, Qin Ji walked towards the place where he lived. But when I just walked to the corner of where I lived, I saw a few people standing there, waving to me excitedly. What are you doing here? Aren't you going to rest? Qin Ji asked, looking at the people in front of him. Commander, we have had enough rest along the way, and the weather is so good when we come back this time, so I want to invite you to play together, Javelin said to Qin Ji excitedly. Are you having fun? Qin Ji smiled and looked at the excited Javelin in front of him, the slightly shy Z-23, the dozing Lafitte, the expressionless Lingbo, and of course the expectant Unicorn. Okay, then where do you want to go? We won't go to places that are too far away. After all, we don't have enough time now. How about going to the beach? We want to go pick up shells. Okay, but you have to let me go back and change my clothes first, otherwise it won't be easy to go wearing this commander's uniform. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 469. Thank you, Belfast. Qin Ji took the drink from Belfast and responded with a smile. You're welcome, my master, Belfast smiled. Qin Gang took a sip of his drink, looked at the bustling beach in front of him, and couldn't help stroking his forehead. Why did things suddenly become like this? He. Originally, Qin Ji went back to change clothes after he promised a few destroyers to play on the beach. But you must know that the traces of Qin Ji are the common concern of the entire fleet, especially when Qin Ji goes out naked, wearing a pair of swimming trunks and sunglasses. The entire fleet knew that he was going to the beach, so not long after arriving at the beach with a few destroyers, they saw groups of ship girls arriving in groups. So, things evolved into what they are now. By the way, I haven't seen you guys like to come to the beach usually. Qin Ji turned to Prince Eugen, who was lying on a chair beside him, and asked. Then the commander doesn't come to the beach in normal times, so why should we go to the beach? Prince Eugen did not mince words and directly stated the key points of the matter. Qin Ji opened his mouth, but couldn't say a word. Yes, he didn't even come, so what are the ship girls doing here? As the saying goes, women should look good to those who please themselves. As a ship girl, you can be said to be bound to your commander for the rest of your life. Therefore, everything revolves around his commander, whether in battle or in life. Okay, it seems that I usually ignore your feelings. I will take you out to play on the beach when you have time, Qin Ji said quickly. Haha, that's right, Prince Eugen said. Commander, you don't actually have to come to the beach every time. You can go to other places. For example, just like in Shenhua City, you can go to places like Old Street. Although there are no old streets here, we can also go hiking and other places. Guanghui said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and nodded. Then next time you can go wherever you want. That's great, Guanghui smiled. But what about Veneto? Didn't I just see her coming? Why didn't I see her? Shinji asked doubtfully. Zara on the side took off her sunglasses and pointed to a place in the distance. Hey, Commander, do you see it now? Shinji looked in the direction directed by Zara and saw Veneto playing in the sand with several destroyers. Why did she go over to play in the sand with the destroyer? Shinji asked in surprise. Because she wants to build a Roman arena. Zara said speechlessly. I have to say that Veneto's sandpiling skills are quite superb, Prince Eugen said with a smile. Zara shrugged without looking angry at all, obviously she was used to Veneto's look. In other words, people in the entire Sardinian Empire are used to Veneto's appearance. He is very serious when he is serious, and he is definitely a powerful flagship of leadership style, but sometimes he is really stupid when he is cute. Commander, I remember you and Veneto dated last time. How could you not know that she likes to play in the sand? Guanghui asked doubtfully. Shinji turned to look at Guanghui. The problem is that Veneto and I didn't come to the beach at all when we were dating. When we were in Chongqing, I just took her to eat and go shopping. She behaved very normally at that time, and she especially liked flowers. Didn't I give her a bouquet of roses at that time? Have you forgotten? Ah, maybe I remembered it wrong, Guanghui said with a smile. By the way, Commander, don't you want to take a look? And I remember Belfast just brought your camera over, didn't you? Take this opportunity to take some photos of Veneto. I believe she will be very happy. Yes, Zara smiled from the side. Shinji hesitated for a moment and looked at Veneto with a silly smile on his face in the distance. Isn't this bad? Haha, I think it's quite good. Since Veneto likes this, she won't mind. So if the commander goes over to take pictures of her, I believe she will be very happy, Prince Eugen also said with a smile. Okay, Shinji was persuaded by several people, so he took the camera from Belfast, and with the smiles on their faces, he walked in the direction of Veneto. Ah, Sister Veneto is so amazing. Really, it's amazing. Can you build a rabbit star? As soon as Shinji walked in, he heard the admiration of a group of destroyers. As long as you work hard, you can stack up like this, Veneto said to everyone. This sentence made Shinji speechless. Please, you are the flagship of the Sardinian camp. You study the sand pile technology every day. What is this? When Shinji was speechless, Spence, who was looking around, saw Shinji's figure. Ah, it's the commander. Hearing Spence's voice, several ship girls raised their heads at the same time and looked in Shinji's direction. Naturally, next came the sounds of several destroyer girls saying hello, and then Veneto smiled and said, Commander, did you also come here to pile sand? Shinji quickly shook his head. No, I saw you piling sand there, so I came here to take some photos for you. Veneto, you won't mind, right? Of course not, let's say it's my honor, Veneto said with a smile, and if the commander takes a photo, can he include my Roman Colosseum in it? If so, I would be very grateful. Sure enough, it was just as Zara said, there was no rejection. Shinji couldn't help but think of it speechlessly, but thinking so, he still turned on the camera and helped Veneto take a few photos. Moreover, the destroyers on the side also responded one after another and asked Shinji to take photos for them. Seeing the smiling faces of everyone, Shinji suddenly felt that everything he did was meaningful. So without saying anything, he helped everyone take photos. When he helped everyone take photos and then went back, Zara asked with a smile, did you not refuse? That's right, and I'm very happy, Shinji nodded and said. It can be seen that the commander was also very happy to take the photo. Zara smiled. Well, Shinji smiled, it was indeed interesting. Especially when you see a plus-size beauty like Veneto piling sand there, the strong contrast of cuteness is really interesting. But it's a little hot now. Commander, would you like to go swimming together? Zara invited with a smile, the two of us can compete to see who can swim faster. It's okay to go swimming, but let's forget about comparing speeds. The most important thing today is rest, Qin said with a smile. Okay, let's go. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 470. Because Zara said she wanted to swim, she had to go to the beach, where the sea water was relatively deep. There happened to be a large pile of rocks next to where everyone was staying, and the sea water below was relatively deep. Just here, the place is relatively high and the water is relatively deep, Qin said to Zara. Okay, this is indeed a good place, Zara smiled. Commander, should you come first or me? Or should I give you a demonstration? First, let's agree. If you can't swim, don't do it. Reluctantly. Qin smiled and said, I grew up by the sea, so swimming is already an instinct for me. Although I can't compare with you ship girls, I still have more confidence. Oh? Then I'm looking forward to the commander's performance, Zara said. Okay, Qin nodded. Just when the two were about to jump off the boulder, they saw a figure appearing in the sea water below. Qin said in surprise, U-81, why are you here? Indeed, the little head peeking out from the sea below is the figure of U-81. After U-81 heard Qin voice, she looked left and right for a while, but she still hadn't discovered Qin location. Finally, when she looked up, she saw Qin and Zara standing on the boulder. Hey, Commander, why are you here? U-81 asked in surprise. I'm going to dive and swim here with Zara. Why did you come here? And you look like you came here by diving, Qin asked U-81. I'm playing hide and seek with U-96 and the others. Commander, do you want to play? U-81 asked with a smile. Qin shook his head, no, you guys just dived into the deep water. How will I find you then? Commanders can also dive. Just like this, just put your head into the water and dive directly, U-81 said, directly touching her head into the water, and her figure suddenly disappeared from the sea, and when he reappeared, he was already on the other side. Qin quickly shook his head, I can't do it. He is a serious human being, and the U-81 in front of him is a submarine. Compared with diving with a submarine, he is not mentally ill. What a shame, Commander, U-81 mocked ruthlessly. Qin touched his nose helplessly, causing Zara beside him to giggle. Then he looked at the tall boulders, and an idea flashed in his mind and he said to U-81, how about we play diving? Just like this. After Qin finished speaking, he took a few steps back, then stood up and jumped, spinning in a circle in the air, and plunged into the sea, causing a large splash of water. As the water splashed down on the sea, Qin also emerged from the sea, shook the water droplets from his hair, and while swinging his arms to keep himself balanced, he said to U-81 not far away, how about it? This seems to be quite fun, U-81 said with his eyes lit up. Really? Qin said with a smile, with a proud look on his face. Then he raised his head and waved his hand to Zara on the boulder, Zara, jump down too. Zara smiled and made an okay gesture. After taking 2 steps forward, she jumped down in a very standard diving posture. The moment time fell into the water, there was not much water splashing on the sea, which was in sharp contrast to Qin fall into the water just now. After a while, Zara emerged from the water, shook the water from her hair, and showed a provocative smile to Qin. Commander, what do you think of my dancing? Qin face darkened. We are not competing to see whose splash is smaller, but we are competing to see who dances more fun. Zara blinked, okay. U-81 on the side immediately swam over and said to Qin, Commander, let's continue dancing. Qin smiled and nodded, okay. After saying that, he, Zara and U-81 swam towards the boulder. Zara's swimming posture is very graceful, while Qin-Ji's swimming method is a more ordinary mass swimming method. As for U-81, he plunged into the water with a sudden force and then emerged very far away. This swimming method is simply incomparable. However, the speed of the three people was not much different, and they all swam to the shore at almost the same time. Then they climbed up the boulder without stopping, and then jumped off the boulder one by one. Once while driving, because diving was for fun, a few people started doing different funny moves in the air. One after another they jumped into the water, and then emerged from the water, and then swam impatiently towards the shore. The sound of joy was loud and carried far. So after a while, when Qin-Ji, U-81 and Zara climbed up the boulder, they suddenly discovered that several heads were exposed at the same time. U-81, I found you, U-556 said to U-81. Humph, if the commander and I weren't playing diving here, would you have found me, U-81 said unwillingly. Diving? I want to play too, U-25 said happily. Hey, didn't we agree to play hide and seek, U-556 said. No more fun, I want to go diving with the commander, U-25 said. I want to go too, Nautilus said weakly, but his eyes were full of desire. Actually, I think hide and seek is quite boring. How about we all go diving with the commander, U-96 said. So due to the sheer number of people, the hide and seek game was finally passed, and instead they were diving with Qin-Ji. Not far away, watching the scene of Qin-Ji diving with the submarine and Zara, Prince Eugen couldn't help but smile. This is the first time I have seen the commander having so much fun. He always gave people a good look before. It feels very mature. Maybe it's because he's around us? The commander deliberately maintains that attitude. He doesn't want us to see his childish side, and he doesn't want us to see his weak side. Because he is the soul of our fleet and he is the flag of our fleet. But here, in the relaxed atmosphere, it was accidentally exposed. Guanghui said with a smile. More and more people are joining in, Rodney said to everyone with a smile, even the usually shy unicorns are going. Do you want to go? I won't go. A lady must maintain ladylike etiquette, Guanghui said with a smile. Then I'll go. Compared to the elegance of a lady, I feel more happy playing with the commander, Rodney said with a smile. Me too, I haven't relaxed like this for a long time. I can enjoy it this time. Prince Eugen also stood up from the chair and said to Rodney next to him. Well, sister, can I go too? Qi looked at Rodney and Prince Eugen walking away one after another, and whispered to Guanghui. Awesome, you must maintain the elegance of a lady, Guanghui said with a smile. Oh, Qi was instantly struck. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 471. After going to the beach before, everyone's tense nerves were somewhat relaxed in the face of the siren tide. And Qin-Ji felt that since then, several destroyers and submarines were more interested in pestering him. Although I used to play with him before, I didn't appear by his side as often as now. Maybe it's because he was too serious before. Although the relationship between them is very good, those girls are always afraid of disturbing their work, so they are not so proactive, Qin-Ji thought. He got up this morning and came to the work area after breakfast. After all, he had returned to the station now, so he had to take responsibility for the responsibilities of the commander of the Grand Fleet. So he walked to his office, opened his office door and saw the scene in front of him, which made him stunned for a moment, and then he immediately closed the door. The moment Qin-Ji turned around and left, the door to the office was opened, and a figure appeared in front of Qin-Ji. Commander, have you seen it? Qin-Ji turned his head to look at the figure on the side, then smiled and said, Hello, awesome, Are you the secretary ship this week? Are you here so early today? The figure that appeared at the door of the office was the terrifying figure. At this time, she blushed and whispered to Qin Ji, so the commander just saw it, right? Qin Ji swallowed and nodded silently. Come in. After Qi finished speaking, he turned and walked into the office. Qin Ji stood in the corridor and couldn't help but look around, and finally followed Qi into the office with a wry smile. After closing the door, Qin Ji said to the formidable figure, I'm sorry. Qi turned his head and looked at Qin Ji. After looking at it for a long time, he said, so how much did the commander just see? Qin Ji stretched out his fingers and gestured, a little bit. No, you didn't see anything just now, do you understand? Qi said with a rosy face and a hint of threat. Qin Ji was stunned for a moment, then nodded wildly. It's such an obvious hint that if you don't know, then you're really stupid. Qi couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw Qin Ji nodding like a chicken pecking at rice. Then he thought of something else and said to Qin Ji, in addition, don't tell Sister Guanghui about this matter. Of course Qin Ji quickly agreed. He didn't blow up his truck, so he wouldn't reveal his secrets without any trouble. Well. A smile appeared on the formidable face. Guian, Commander, I have put all the mails for you on the table. You can work at ease now. Qin Ji couldn't help but be stunned for a moment when he saw Qi's change of expression. Seeing Qi, who was now so ladylike and elegant, and thinking about the scene he just saw, Qin Ji always felt that something was unreal. Okay. After Qin Ji finished speaking, he quickly walked to his desk and sat down. Then he began to open letters one after another and read the contents attentively. Qi couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw Qin Ji starting to concentrate on his work. It seemed that she was not as indifferent as she had shown before. Qin Ji handles official duties relatively quickly, after all, these are basically daily necessities. Although Li Chenming is now the commander of the station, he has been learning this since the end of first grade. When Qin Ji finished handling the morning's emails and other things, he raised his head, only to find that Qi was looking at him intently. What's wrong? Is there something on my face? Qin Ji asked doubtfully. No, Qi shook his head, I just feel that the commander looks quite handsome when he is serious. Qin Ji smiled and said, then I'll take this as your compliment to me. Commander, have you finished the work now? Qi asked. Qin Ji nodded, it can be considered a phased completion. After all, we have to inspect the port area and check the surrounding monitoring facilities later. These procedures still need to be followed. If you ask me, do you have this, what's the matter? No, I just saw that the commander has finished his morning work, so I wanted to ask you if you want tea, Qi said. Would you like tea? Okay, Qin Ji nodded. Commander, please wait a moment. After Taste said this, he turned around and walked to the tea table nearby. He skillfully poured 2 cups of tea and took out 2 pieces of cake from his ship's space. Looking at the black tea and cake placed in front of him, Qin Ji said unexpectedly, where did you get the cake? In Belfast, she was making cakes for a few destroyers, so I asked for some as dessert for tea, Qi said. Qin Ji nodded. It is true that Belfast occasionally makes cakes for destroyers. But having said that, the commander is actually able to unite ships from so many camps. He is really tolerant, Qi said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji smiled and said, aren't all other commanders like this? I'm not the most special one, and I think there are only ideological differences between these camps, and they all have the same purpose. Otherwise we wouldn't have formed as a lane. Indeed, Qi nodded and said, I have a question, I wonder if the commander can answer it. Qin Ji put down the teacup he took a sip from and said to Qi, just tell me. As long as I know, I will answer you. How did Commander get Sister Guanghui in the first place? Oh no, Did you ask Sister Guanghui to join our fleet? Kui asked curiously. Why do you ask this? Qin Ji asked doubtfully. I heard it from Rodney, but when I asked her the reason, he couldn't explain clearly, so I had to ask the commander, Kui said. Qin Ji smiled and said, then you won't ask your sister directly. I believe she will know it very well. After all, she is the person involved. Kui shook his head, even if I ask my sister, she will definitely not tell me, so I might as well ask the commander directly. Qin Ji asked doubtfully, it's not something embarrassing. Why wouldn't he tell you? But compared to my sister, I want to ask the commander more, Kui said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji smiled and said, okay, let me tell you. Kui said with interest. A flash of memory flashed in Qin Ji's eyes. It wasn't too long ago when I first entered the Commander Academy, and I felt that my fleet was developing much better than some others, because I already had 6 ship girls, so he submitted a request to the Prince of Wales for a mission. The Prince of Wales agreed at the time, but as a requirement, she sent a free ship girl to follow me to ensure my safety, and this person is your sister. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 472. As time gradually passed, more siren fleets appeared in the waters around Sun Moon Island. The Maritime Safety Administration's WASP stationed at Ryu Island also issued a notice about the new siren tide from the Maritime Safety Administration. Moreover, there are more tasks on the usual task panel than before, most of which are related to the siren tide. While the rest of the fleet began to work hard on the mission, Qin Ji also sent his own ship girl to do the mission. However, he did not go there this time, because his ship girl's current level of training was enough to cope with the current tasks in the sea. And now that I am here, I have to control everything about the residents at all times. In addition, during this period of time, many free ship girls came to the station frequently. The few buildings that accommodated free ship girls, which were originally sparsely staffed, are now almost full of people. After all, during the siren tide, the Maritime Safety Administration will issue assisting defense and garrison tasks, and the target groups are basically large fleets and free ship girls. However, since the siren increased its attack on Donghuang, there are very few large fleets to take on this kind of mission, so now the main force of this mission has become free ship girls. Places like Sun Moon Island have relatively few guard forces and relatively few resident ship girls, so it is also a place where many free ship girls prefer to come. Because there are few rules, he is not that afraid of conflicts, especially since Qin Ji came here. After all, Qin Ji had commanded the defensive battle in Zhenhua City's sea area before and achieved 0 casualties. This kind of record can be said to be the greatest guarantee for the ship girls, so there are many more free ship girls here this year than in previous years. This situation made Qin Ji even more relieved. With the assistance of so many free ship girls, coupled with the power of his own fleet and the large fleet, I believe he can easily protect this area of the station. Yes, you only need to defend the area of the base, because this is not a large urban area like Zhenhua City, and the positions and fronts that need to be defended are relatively long. The residential areas here are only distributed near the port area, and are relatively small. Most residents generally choose to live in another section of Ryu Island. After all, the other side there is relatively flat, and the threat of sirens is relatively small. Relatively low. This is also the reason why Qin Ji's defense station only needs a large fleet, combined with free ship girls, to defend it. There are large open spaces and mountains in other places. Even if they are bombed by sirens, there will be no problem. Perhaps besides Qin Ji, the busiest person in the station these 2 days was Wasp. All task delegation and reward records are done by her, but her work efficiency is indeed high and she handles these things in an orderly manner. Finally, more than 10 days later, a large-scale attack by the sirens came through the port area where they were stationed. This offensive formation shocked Qin and all the ship girls. Looking up from the offshore sea area detection device, the sea surface is densely packed, connected to each other, and there is no edge at all. Even the previous siren tide in Shenhua City was not this strong, right? Qin stood next to the screen in surprise and said to Wasp. Yes, those who know that this is the siren tide, and those who don't know think that the sirens have launched a full-scale attack. Wasp sighed, Commander Qin, it seems that our secret weapon must be deployed. Otherwise, this battle really cannot be fought. Qin smiled and said, it's okay. I have already agreed with them in advance, so an attack like this is actually the most beneficial situation for us. With the defense of about 20 awakened ship girls, these sirens are equivalent to send us resources. Wasp was speechless, but Qin was telling the truth. The 20 or so awakened ship girls here are equivalent to almost all the awakened ship girls in one camp. The current situation is equivalent to these siren fleets concentrating their firepower to attack the headquarters of a camp. However, the training level of these siren fleets is so low, how can they attack it? So the final situation will evolve into sending supplies and materials. Fortunately, with Qin coordination, this time the Siren Tide defense battle officially began, and the resulting situation was almost one-sided. With the help of several awakened aircraft carrier girls, air supremacy was firmly grasped by Qin fleet. The other ship girls of the Grand Fleet and the Free Ship girls followed behind the awakened ship girls and attacked the Siren Fleet unscrupulously. At the watchtower at the station, Qin looked at the scene in front of him with a high-power telescope, and suddenly thought of a game he had played before, called Dynasty Warriors. And this game also has a very unique nickname, called Wushuan Moing. Because the generals inside are very powerful, when you fight the small soldiers and some ordinary generals, you can basically kill everyone. And the scene in front of me is quite similar to the game I once played. In particular, the weapons used by these awakened ship girls are naval guns and carrier-based aircraft. Such weapons of large-scale destruction are even more terrifying. Just like the carrier-based aircraft controlled by Akagi and Kaga, the fighter jets were constantly hovering in the sky. As long as the opponent's aircraft carrier dared to take off, the fighter jets would be shot down immediately by their fighter jets. The bombers flew directly over the battleships to drop bombs, basically sinking a battleship with one bomb drop. The torpedo planes were even more terrifying. Since the opponent's fleet was very dense, the parallel mines projected by several torpedo planes basically exploded violently after hitting a Siren warship. As for the other remaining torpedoes, they still passed through the water, chasing the new target. Basically all the torpedoes could hit the target, causing the Siren battleship to sink. Such a three-line operation is extremely simple for them, and they can even destroy battleships faster than some battleships can directly fire and sink. Ship girls like Hao, who were armed with their own weapons, simply gave up shooting while standing still. Instead, he showed off his weapons and rushed towards the enemy warships. Every time the sword passed, a mass-produced warship was taken away, and their main guns and secondary guns were all used as defensive shooting weapons. A group of free ship girls and other commanders of the large fleet looked at the back with dumbfounded eyes. Is this still the Siren Tide that is known as the graveyard of commanders and ship girls? This is now more like a stage for these awakened ship girls to perform, elegant, smart and exciting. Isn't this the scene I've always dreamed of? Thinking of this, the ship girls followed even more closely.